Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Heat Wave. 32 teams in 32 days. We are breaking down every single fantasy relevant player, every single one for each team. And today we're focusing on the Green Bay Packers. I am your host, the Fantasy Plug, Tim Petropoulos, editor-in-chief of BrotoFantasy.com and the Fantasy Football by Broto app. I'm joined by my brother, Michael. He is the king of this fantasy thing, lead fantasy analyst for the Fantasy Football by Broto app and BrotoFantasy.com. And, of course, the genius of fantasy, Santiago Casanova, Broto lead data analyst and developer of the Fantasy Football by Broto app. Speaking of the app, it is free right now. Go download it and become your own expert. It is the only app you need to dominate fantasy football. Every stat you hear us use today is found on the app. You can find it on player cards, player grades, usage charts, start sit tool, who to draft tool, player comps, podcast, consistency charts, game logs, coaching tendencies, articles, rankings, waivers, every single stat you need, every advanced stat you need, and exclusive stats you can only find on the app. True throw value, true target value, true performance value, adjusted air yards, and true matchup rankings. The app is free because of our patrons over at patreon.com/BrotoFantasy. Thank you so much to you lovely, lovely, beautiful people. You are the thing that keeps the Broto machine running. Join now to support the show, the app, and for as little as $3 a day, you get an extra waiver wire show every single week, access to BRoto Leagues, proven cash game optimizers, for DFS, access to cheat sheets, private team consultations, unique fantasy leagues with the Broto family on Discord, and you get access to that. If you enjoy the show, if you enjoy the app, please consider joining. The contributions go a long way. As you can see, we put a lot of work into this too. I am a nomadic. This is the fourth division we're covering, and this is the fourth different background I have because I'm in the fourth different place recording this.
And yeah, we're like nomads for these heat waves. To me and you keep changing places of recording.
Yeah, for sure. So if you want to see if you want to see our different backgrounds, youtube.com/BrotoFantasy. Yeah, like I said before, if you keep going there, we'll keep providing the video content. All right. With that being said, let's get into the offensive outlook for the Packers. Same deal. Head coach is Matt LaFleur. It's his third year as head coach of the Packers. 2 of those years resulted in Aaron Rodgers MVP seasons. The offensive coordinator, on the other hand, is Adam Stanovic, run game coordinator for the Packers last season and offensive line coach before that. Their previous offensive coordinator for the last 2 years, Nathaniel Hackett, is now the head coach for the Broncos. This is an in-house hire. So let's look at what they did last season. 10th in points scored and passed on 57% of plays. That's the middle of the pack. Now, I guess you could say addition by subtraction is something that people try to do, but this is not one of those situations because this might be subtraction by addition. Their addition is wide receiver Sammy Watkins.
Jason would have loved that one too.
I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to go on a little Sammy Watkins rant for Jason, for him. For those of you who listened to the Chiefs one, I almost couldn't help it, and I started with I started on the Chiefs. Rookie. They brought in Christian Watson, a wide receiver, North Dakota State in the second round, offensive lineman Sean Ryan, and wide receiver Romeo Doubs in the fourth round. And their subtraction, of course, the big one, the one that everyone's talking about, wide receiver Equanimous St. Brown. Oh, also Devante Adams.
And I thought you were going to go Marquez before Devante Adams.
And Marquez Valdez-Scantling. But honestly, for real, though, Devante Adams, best wide receiver in football, no longer with his partner, Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be interesting to see who's Scotty, who's Michael, right? Who's like, what is going on there and how the Packers adjust. And let's get into it. QB, Aaron Rodgers. I feel like he'll be good in real life this year. At the same time, not a lot of weapons. I don't know if I want a guy who's going to be throwing to his running backs primarily as my starting fantasy quarterback. I believe that he can support fantasy players, but I'm looking elsewhere than Aaron Rodgers, where he's going right now. He's going around QB 11. I'd rather take an upside shot on a guy like Trey Lance at that spot, and then if that doesn't work out, stream. How are you guys feeling about Mr. Rodgers?
So according to Fantasy Pros, Aaron Rodgers' ADP is QB 12 right now. The last 2 seasons, he was a QB 8 and QB 5, respectively, in points per game. And that was after his down season in 2019. I say down in quotes because he was QB 13 in points per game during that year. And then he was the QB 4 in points per game in 2018. So just based off those numbers alone, a QB 12 ADP is a little bit silly. He was also top 10 in true target value 3 of the last 4 years, including a first overall finish in 2020. But of course, I'd be remiss not to bring up the departure of the great Devante Adams. Adams has been the dominating force of the Packers' passing attack over the last several seasons, garnering a 30+% target share and putting up
Crazy.
league leading numbers during that time. And like you said, man, they just didn't do much to replace him. Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Sammy Watkins, they let MVS walk. I suppose the Packers just really have faith in Alan Lazard and company to step up in a more shared wide receiver room. But this is Aaron Rodgers. I think he'll be able to find a way to get it done. He's played without Devante Adams before. It's not like he's only ever been a successful quarterback with Devante Adams. Like, didn't they? I think he won his first Super Bowl before Devante Adams was even on the team. Like, I know he had other weapons, but
Yeah, I mean
all I'm
right.
saying is just because Devante Adams is gone doesn't mean Aaron Rodgers is going to fall off the face of the earth. And at a QB 12 ADP, I think it's a decent, like, especially like if you're waiting on a quarterback that long, who are you going to take in that area? Right? Like you said, Trey Lance is the upside pick. Sure, I understand that, the rushing appeal. But you're going to take like Tua, no, like Derek Carr, no, maybe a Kirk Cousins. But I don't know if any of those guys have the upside, like the overall upside that Aaron Rodgers has, even without Devante Adams this season. And look,
I will say this. Hold on, Michael,
probably
before you go on to that. It is worth it to note that in his career with Devante Adams on the team, without Devante Adams, Aaron Rodgers has a passer rating of 112.7, 2,795 yards, and 24 touchdowns with 3 interceptions in 11 games.
That's tremendous.
So this guy's putting up MVP type numbers without Devante Adams in his career. Without Devante Adams, I'm not gonna lie. Credit to StatMuse, which is the best place to search like Aaron Rodgers stats without Devante Adams. You just put that right into the search bar and they got it for you. It's amazing. Shout out to StatMuse. But with that being said, that changes my outlook on Aaron Rodgers a little bit. I'm a little bit higher on Aaron Rodgers after seeing that.
Yeah, and at QB 12 ADP, there's no reason not to take the chance on him if you wait on the quarterback position, because you could get him in like the double-digit rounds at this point. Like, people are just like, oh, Aaron Rodgers, I guess. When it's, it should be like, yo, it's Aaron Rodgers. This guy continues to ball out. He was MVP last year, right?
Back to back.
I'm not misremembering. Yeah, he was the MVP last year. Like, I'm still gonna take Aaron Rodgers at ADP, and that's that.
Michael, remember when you guys told me that Aaron Rodgers was done 2 years ago, and then I told you that he was going to bounce back because of Jordan Love, and then he did, and then you guys told me that I wasn't correct anyway, even though he did, and now you're convincing me to draft Aaron Rodgers. What is going on?
It's like a circle.
All right, let's get into the wide receivers. Let's play Pick That Whiteout. Dun, 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 dun. One of these lucky rascals is going to go back with his main squeeze, the MVP, recently divorced from his alpha and looking for a second chance at chemistry. Come on down, wide receiver. The first one, he's a young, hot new thing and has all the tools. Christian Watson.
Hey, bro.
Can we get some like some claps from you guys over there? Come on over there. What are you doing over there?
Good job.
No, secondly, we have the old flame, someone who he's kept by his side but never really committed to, Alan Lazard. Third is the former relationship, an old flame trying to get back what they once had in the glory days, Randall Cobb. This guy had a cup of coffee with him one time, and then he kind of blew him off. Now he's depending on him for a little more than a cup, Amari Rodgers. And finally, will he get dubbed by Romeo Dubs? No one knows. Mr. Romeo Dubs. Okay, yeah.
And Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, I forgot
I forgot Sammy Watkins.
The guy you wanted to shit all over.
On, and, of course, no.
Nice.
All right, guys. So with that being said, who are you picking in this? In this, I mean, look, it's the MVP. He's going to be throwing to one of these guys. He's going to have a connection to one of these guys. He's going to throw it to, maybe not more than one of these guys. But either way, fantasy points to be had. So the question is, all these guys are affordable at ADP as well. Is it as simple as pick your guy and go for it? What do you think?
I I don't know, bro. I just want to make it clear. I was clapping the whole time, but my mic was off and I didn't realize. But I did like your stuff.
Thanks, Kaz.
I'm kind of burning my ball prediction earlier than I should have. But I think Christian Watson's gonna lead this team as a
Ooh.
receiver, because who else is gonna do that, right? We've seen on Lazard with the MVP Rodgers, didn't work out. We've seen I'm sorry, not Christian, Sammy Watkins with Mahomes, didn't work
Facts.
out. We've seen Randall Cobb. He was good. He was good. Is the key phrase here, right? The key word. We've seen Amari Rodgers, not good. We haven't seen Romeo Dubs, who might be interesting, but I don't think he has wide receiver one material,
Fourth
especially
round
not his
rookie.
rookie year.
Fourth round rookie.
But yeah, so that just leaves us with Watson, and I think he's the best bet. You said what 2,100 yards in 11 games without Adams, right?
2,400.
2,400.
2,700. 2,800. 2,795. So 2,800.
Okay,
11
2,800
games.
is okay, way better than I thought it was going to be. So
It's over 250
it's-
yards a game.
it's the perennial question of the balls have to go to someone, right? Do they though? Like, yes, but who? How? What? That makes zero sense because they're all gonna be bad, and there's no alpha. Just that's my take here. There's no alpha. So when we break them down, Lazard has a 2021 target share of 12.1. Watkins 12.6. Cobb 10. Amari Rodgers 6.2. Even just getting ahead of myself, Tunyon has a 10.9. Not good all around. So that's what makes me lean Watson. He has the best shot out of them all. Like if you check out the efficiency stats on Alan Lazard, who has played with Rodgers and in very good years, like MVP years. Last year he didn't have any top 10 efficiency metrics. He was 53rd in true target value. He was 50 in yards per reception, even in something that doesn't depend on volume, like points per opportunity, excluding touchdown. He was 30th with MVP Rodgers. He's not going to become an alpha just one day to the next. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. This is bad. This is bad.
See, I hear you there. I agree with you that it's either going to be Christian Watson or Alan Lazard. I'm just okay taking a shot on both at ADP
Me
because
too.
we've seen like Alan Lazard. He was a UDFA. He hasn't been a tremendous asset, but he's been decent for what they've asked of him as a UDFA, and he's never had to step up with Devante Adams on that team. But we've seen like these random great seasons from wide receivers because of like I know vacated targets. Typically, it's mainly the targets are going to the players who deserve it, and it's not just like it's typically spread out more among other receivers if there's one that doesn't deserve it. But I mean, we've seen like these Brandon Lloyd seasons, these I don't know, like Sidney Rice seasons, like these random seasons of just tremendous output because that guy just happened to everything just happened to fall in the right place for that guy for that year. I could see, like, I don't think it's out of the realm of the possibility for Alan Lazard to be a top 24 wide receiver. I do think it's unlikely based on his career, the target share, and all that good stuff. But just because of how good Aaron Rodgers is, and clearly he has the trust of Aaron Rodgers. Look at that wide receiver room. It's Alan Lazard, and then it's, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Aaron Rodgers to the rest of them. So I
Cobb.
feel like Cobb, but Randall Cobb at this point is like 97 years old, and
Yeah.
like I'm not gonna trust Randall Cobb. So I like Alan Lazard at ADP and Christian Watson at ADP. I'm okay taking the shot on both of them because they're both going pretty late to begin with, like outside the top 30 wide receivers. And like if they don't pan out, it's okay. You took a 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th round pick, depending. I see these guys going anywhere from like in that range, depending on the draft room. It's a crazy difference.
I took him in the
where-
9th round in a mock recently.
yeah, like if you're taking him in the 9th round and he doesn't hit, oh well, who are you taking in his place, right? You're taking like some people are taking up like backup running backs like Ramondre
Yeah, I agree.
Stevenson at
I
that
agree.
point. Like you might as well draft Alan Lazard at that point, and his ADP basically says draft me.
I will say that at ADP they are pretty valuable, especially Watson out of the two. Like he would be my main target because it's you don't know what you're getting. With Alan
Yeah,
Lazard, you know a lot more. So it's the thrill of surprise, right? Maybe he's very good, maybe
yeah.
he's not, but who cares? So yeah, they're going around wide receiver 45 and 49, and at that range, I'm happy.
Yeah,
Uh,
sign me up, man.
the wide receiver 24 thing, I think it's way unlikely. I will say he's probably going to have a couple wide receiver one games where he just explodes for 150 and 2 touchdowns, something like that. But it's going to be 2 games a year, 3 tops, and the rest are going to be pretty mediocre.
Uh, I think Christian Watson. I think this is how I'm looking at it. Christian Watson is the most unknown, right? So therefore, his ceiling's the highest because
Sure.
he's the young kid with all the tools, right? He's the young, sexy vixen for Rodgers to target. And then you got Alan Lazard, who's sturdy. By the way, Alan Lazard's stats in 5 games without the Devante Adams: 302 yards and 2 touchdowns. So about 50 yards a game. I think
60.
that so that's 1,000-yard season. So is it too much to expect 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns out of Alan Lazard? I don't think it is. And if you can
I
get
do.
that, I don't think that. All right, fine. Then let's put it down a notch. Can you expect 50 yards a game from him? That's like 900 yards, 6 touchdowns. That's a wide
That's
receiver
more
3
possible.
season. And so I'm not.
I agree with
I
that.
think that's what Alan Lazard is at his height, though. So if you want to go for a higher ceiling, Christian Watson's your guy. Shout out to Jason. Do you know who's never your guy? Sammy Watkins. Since Sammy Watkins' rookie season, where, by the way, BRoto Fantasy Grades, an exclusive stat for BRoto, is a grade that. Why don't you explain it, Cass, since you are the algorithmic master behind this?
The grades are a composite score that both describes what the season did, like what those players did that season, and tries to predict what they're gonna do that season. So the grade, we have percent grade and letter grade. They both indicate what we think that player is going to do next season based on today's stats, right? So if Cooper Kupp just scored an A+, that means his season was great, and we can expect a pretty good season next season, right? That's what that's trying to predict, and it's of course BRoto exclusive, and you get all the grades for each position ranging from 0 to 100. I think it's 2015 forward. I don't recall the exact number, but that's how players are ranked and graded for the BRoto app.
Thank you, sir. Since Sammy Watkins A grade in 2015, D-, F, D+, C, F, F. Jason wrote an entire article one time about how Sammy Watkins literally makes your team worse. He's never reached his true target value ever. He's always constantly underperforming it. I know that there are people out there whose voices I actually respect who are saying that Sammy Watkins is the guy to draft with the Packers. And to that I say, don't do drugs. With that being said, here's another tip. The BRoto tip of the day. Now, we have a lot of exclusive tools. One of our favorite tools, because it's so shareable, right? It's so viral, as you may say, is the rushing yards and scrimmage yards over expected tool. What this does is, again, Cass with his algorithm puts all the information together on where they are on the field, what play they're running, who the defense is, all these different things, and says what should be expected of them on a play. And if they overperform that play, they get more yards than expected. If they underperform, they get less. So with that being said, here is your way to look at that on the app. Cass, take it away. Again, youtube.com/BrotoFantasy if you want to see what Cass is talking about as well.
Yeah, so this is a machine learning project, machine learning algorithm that takes into account all those things Tim said. So like yards to go, down, distance, time left in the game, all of that good stuff, and tries to predict how many yards a player is getting. And then we calculate whether he got more or less. And this plot right here just symbolizes for every single rush whether they got more or less, and just goes along with the season. Here you can compare up to 4 players. We have Jamal Williams, Aaron Jones, Swift, and Cook in the same plot, and you can compare them to each other. So you can see Swift had a very bad run. Then he kind of got over 0, so he netted around expected. He was not great. Jamal Williams was soaring over expected a little bit. Then Aaron Jones and Dalvin Cook were on a different level. So this is a very cool way to compare. Yeah.
Can I just cut you off for a second? Because part of this as well is maybe you're asking yourself, but Cass, what are you talking about? DeAndre Swift underperformed rushing yards over expected. Remember, he's a receiving back. So Cass, what do you do when there's receiving backs?
Glad you asked, Tim. We have scrimmage yards over expected.
What
This combines rushing yards over expected and then receiving yards over expected with another model, which is the expected yak model, which is the first I developed actually. So if we look up for Swift, you can actually see different seasons for players, right? So you can pick whichever season you want. You can check out Swift. You can see he's well over expected, no problem, because that's where he shines. Aaron Jones is just on a different level, but because we have his is probably the wide receiver 1 for the Packers right here, Aaron Jones.
Cass, you couldn't not have set me up any better for that one. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the tip of the day. And we're going to go into the running backs for the Green Bay Packers because I teased this one a little bit in the last episode. And guys, I am professing my love and hanging my hat on one Sir Aaron Jones. I was trepidatiously leaning into him as my guy for the last month or two. But as the offseason has unfolded, there's no reason for me to 100% go into Aaron Jones. I'm going to say my bold prediction, but let's talk about Aaron Jones' opportunity here because Cass already mentioned it. Aaron Jones on the next level when it comes to over expected, right? So not only does he get what is expected of him, he smashes models for over expected, right?
That was sus, bro.
Was it?
Smashing models?
Oh, he smashes models. And maybe on the street, you know what? If he wanted to, he could probably smash models too. I wouldn't be surprised this year if he has more receiving yards and rushing yards. Since 2019, Aaron Jones is one of only 7 running backs to catch at least 148 balls in the last 3 years. Those 7 running backs, Zeke, Alvin Kamara, Austin Eckler, CMC, Fournette, and J.D. McKissick. Of all those players, Aaron Jones has the least amount of catches and the most fantasy points in that time span. Aaron Jones has outscored all the guys I just said in that time span, guys that you think of as elite, but somehow Aaron Jones is still getting drafted in the late second and the early third. Explain to me how. It's only one. The only good thing about it is that all the BRoto listeners are going to get a chance to grab Aaron Jones because there's nothing not to like about Aaron Jones. I think we have history on our hands, possibly. Last time we saw 1,000 in 1,000 season was CMC. I think if there's a player that has a chance, and look, Aaron Jones has gotten nowhere near 1,000 yards in his career, but he's also played with Devante Adams, and he's probably going to have the highest share of the targets on this team. If I had to bet, I think Aaron Jones has a good chance to be RB1 overall, and I think his floor is like RB6. Like I think his floor is like RB6. I really do.
Bro, look, fucking, as the kids would say, miss me with this Aaron Jones is wide receiver 1 garbage that you and so many people want to put out there.
Me.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
So many people haven't.
Aaron Rodgers, an all-time great.
Attention to fantasy people besides us.
I've seen it around too. Aaron Rodgers, an all-time great MVP back-to-back years, is suddenly going to become a fucking dump-off specialist throwing mainly to his running back and to running backs running routes. Dude, Aaron Jones has had a target percentage between 11 and 12% for as long as he's been like Aaron Jones. To think he's suddenly just going to lead this league in target share or be the wide receiver 1 is just silly, dude. Like, why? What about Aaron Rodgers? Because Aaron Rodgers is not just going to just start throwing to the running back as his main pass catching weapon. That's not what the best quarterbacks in the league do. That's simply just not what they do. And this isn't to say I don't think Aaron Jones is a bad pick ADP. I just don't think he's about to become some miraculous Christian McCaffrey hybrid RB wide receiver out of nowhere. He was 11th in points per game last season, was 4th in 2020, 3rd in 2019. consistently a very good target share percentage, has double-digit touchdowns each of the previous 3 seasons. The issue with Aaron Jones, if you want to say there's an issue, is that he was just 24th in rush attempts in 2021. But like he's never been a workhorse back in that sense. Like before AJ Dillon, it was Jamal Williams, and he wasn't a huge boom bust guy like people like to say that he is. He had the same amount of RB3 or worse finishes as Joe Mixon last year. And Joe Mixon is still going ahead of Aaron Jones now this year. Like running backs just have bad games sometimes. Aaron Jones was not immune to it, but it wasn't as bad as some people think. As long as Aaron Jones is Aaron Jones in the Green Bay backfield, he's going to be an RB1. I do think there's value at the RB13, which is his ADP right now on Fantasy Pros. But the wide receiver 1 garbage is for Aaron Jones. Maybe his target percentage will go up to 13, maybe 13.5%. But get out of here with this. Aaron Jones is about to be the wide receiver 1 out of the backfield garbage.
I just want to put this out there, Michael, since you want to call this all garbage and all that stuff and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Aaron Jones has played 7 games without Devante Adams in his career. He's averaged over 5 catches per game, over 50 yards per game, a half a touchdown per game, and over almost 7 targets per game without Devante Adams in his career already, and without a shift in an offense. Already, yep. He commands targets when Devante Adams is not in the field. And what I just told you, those stats are and now look, I know that these don't directly correlate, but those stats are 1,000 yards. That's what those stats say.
This is also not with a whole offseason without Devante Adams. This is,
exactly.
Devante Adams got hurt.
Yes, this is. Then
we need to adjust on the fly.
Yes, but that is also a double-headed sword, Michael. Because yes, I could use that argument against you and say now they have time to prepare our Jones for the workload.
Look, I like Aaron Jones at ADP. Anything above what I think he's going to do is all gravy. Like, I hope he does what you're saying, and I draft him, and he becomes Christian McCaffrey this season. I just think it's absolutely bananas to think Aaron Rodgers is going to turn his running back into his wide receiver 1.
Cass, what do you got to say about this, bro?
Funny you should mention target share here for running backs, because I actually did an article, a whole research that tells us that running backs don't really control their target share. They're more dependent on their QB. And it's true that Aaron Rodgers is not the most RB passing happy QB, right? But I can see a shift in the offense where he does target running backs, not only like out of the backfield. I can see Aaron Jones lining up in the slot, running rounds like a wide receiver would. And that's not just that becomes like not dropping off to the wide receiver. And I like the comment. I think it was Tim that said he could have more receiving yards than rushing yards. That's a little bit out there. I will say that.
I said it would be. I don't think it would be that crazy. Like
I do.
Alvin Kamara a couple years ago had like 900 receiving yards and like 700 rushing yards. Like I could see an Aaron Jones having that type of year.
Okay, I like let's say for that sake it's true. So even Mike himself mentioned like he could have a 13.5% target share, right? 14, 15 if we're pushing it. None of the wide receivers in that team passed even 13 last season.
Oh shit!
None of them.
Did you hear that? Boom, boom, boom! You just got statted, bro.
That's why Aaron Jones does have potential to be the number 1. I'm not saying a wide receiver 1. I'm saying the number 1 wide receiver for.
I'm saying it, Tim. I don't know
Rodgers.
what Tim's fucking doing over there.
I'm saying that Castus, but now
except Devante Adams, who was over 30%.
Yeah,
Tim.
of course.
Yeah.
But there's no Devante Adams anymore. No one's pulling 30% in that offense.
Not
even Jones. That's why he could be one with a 15%. You don't have to be a 30% to be wide receiver 1 when your competition is Randall Cobb and Alan Lazard.
And another thing that Cass uncovered is that these targets are earned by wide receivers. So and running backs, like they earn, like, well, the running backs not as much as the wide receivers. Wide receivers earn their targets. Talent follows the wide receivers. So with that being said, there's not much talent. Anyway, another talented guy in the backfield, AJ Dillon. And right now, Michael's telling me it's going too long, guys. Too bad. This is an interesting team, so we're going to talk a lot.
It is
All right?
quite interesting.
Don't worry. There's other teams in this division where we
The
probably
Lions are coming.
won't talk as much. The Bears, in particular.
The Bears and the Lions.
I mean,
Damn
the
Bears.
Lions are, a
The
little
Lions
more
are at least
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
Not good, but interesting.
Yeah,
The
they're
Bears
interesting.
suck.
The Lions are running it back with the same squad. It's I don't know what's going on there. But anyway,
Almost.
Robert Tonyan. I'm sorry. We're gonna stay with the running backs. AJ Dillon. A lot of people are high on AJ Dillon this year. I believe he'll have a role. I think you'll see him on the field with Aaron Jones a lot. I think LaFleur, look, from what we've seen about McVay, LaFleur, Shanahan, this coaching tree, is that they don't have a style. What their style is, they have a scheme. They have a zone running scheme. They have a scheme to get people open, but they don't have a style. Their style is they adapt to their personnel. And we've seen them adapt to their personnel. And Green Bay's personnel is running backs. And A.J. Dillon's going to be on the field too. According to J.J. Zacharyson, since 2011, there have been an average of 1.3 teammate combos who have finished together as top 24 running backs. So very rare. There's been as much as 3 in 2017 and as low as 0 in the year following 2018. So not a guarantee that teammates will end as top 24 running backs, but I think this year, these are the 2 teammates that end as top 24 running backs. I am comfortable with A.J. Dillon as my RB2 if I'm going like seesaw running back or something like that. Michael does not look happy with me at all. Tell me why, Michael.
Every year, this only happens once a year. It's rare. It's happening this year, baby. This is my bet. It's stupid. That's what everyone is doing. A.J. Dillon is currently going as the RB25 right now. He was the RB24 last season overall, RB37 in points per game. The reason there's so much inflated love for A.J. Dillon is because he had 3 RB1 performances through the last 7 weeks of the year last season. But if you look closely at 2 of the games, they were just normal ass games. Like in the first one against the Seahawks, they won 17-0. So of course there was a lot of work for AJ Dillon. He happened to score 2 rushing touchdowns, but he ran for 66 yards on 21 attempts, which is gross. The second time was a shootout against the Chargers where he had 20 rush attempts, but only 69 rushing yards. He happened to find the end zone through the air. And then the last game was a semi-pointless game against the Vikings in week 17 when the Packers it didn't really matter to the Packers anymore. Like the big AJ Dillon weeks were all like, okay, this kind of makes sense that they're big AJ Dillon weeks. And he started getting more work over the second half of the year. Yes, he was getting more work than maybe Jamal Williams was getting in the split with Aaron Jones. Sure. But it's very rare for 2 RBs to finish top 24. None of us think Aaron Jones is stopping at any point soon from being Aaron Jones. So why, like, RB25 means you're selecting this dude in like the 6th or 7th round. You're selecting a secondary running back in a committee as a starting roster in your lineup. Like, in your starting lineup is AJ Dillon. Hopefully he has 15 rush attempts, 50 yards and a touchdown today. He's completely touchdown dependent. He's going to be touchdown dependent. His ADP is stupid. I don't choose backup running backs in the 6th or 7th round. It was just like Tony Pollard last year and Tony Pollard this year. These guys are elite handcuffs, 1,000%. If Aaron Jones or Zeke get hurt and you drafted them, you lucked out. You have absolutely elite running back on your roster that you took in the 6th or 7th round. But I don't choose insurance policies in the 6th or 7th round.
Tony Pollard was playable last year.
Yeah, playable, but it not
go look at his game log, bro. Yeah, go look at Tony Pollard's game log. It was not fun.
My main team, I had a lot of injuries, and I was starting Tony Pollard and Zeke, so I know exactly what he was doing on a week-by-week basis. He wasn't killing you, but he was an all right flex.
Yeah, but you're drafting him to be at least useful in an RB2 spot.
I think Michael is just underestimating like the situation. Like, yeah, okay. In 99% of situation? In 99% of the time, Michael, like you're right. Fine. But let's take a look at the Saints. When the Saints had Kamara and Ingram both be RB1s, they had Michael Thomas to throw to and no one else. It was just them 3 in the offense. And it's gonna be the same shit. It's gonna be all of these fucking dudes that all equal up to Michael Thomas, and then the 2 running backs. And that's what it's gonna be in this offense. And I don't see why that's a hot take.
Tim, during that time, Alvin Kamara was barely even rushing the damn ball. He was basically only a pass catcher. That is not Aaron Jones's role.
No. So Aaron Jones might be even better.
Too.
Yeah, you're right. Aaron Jones might be even better.
Yeah, but Dillon won't be.
That's
the point. Like
Yeah.
he's not gonna have the rushing where the Mark Ingram had, and
Where do you stand?
Kamara
Where
didn't.
do you stand here, Cass?
I stand
think
with
he's
Michael
dumb.
here.
Thank you.
Really?
Yeah, because
Huh.
also like Michael mentioned, some of those games where he got those like crazy rushing attempts, they won 17-0. They were crushing teams. Bold prediction here: they're not going to be crushing teams without Devante Adams like they did. So they might be in closer games, not running out the clock at the end like they used to. And that's where Dylan shined. Those getting those garbage time attempts.
He'll be a touchdown dependent flex option, in my opinion, for as long as Aaron Jones is healthy, and I don't want that. So
we are getting
other
a
people
little,
can draft him.
we are getting a little ahead. I mean,
A little bit.
it's like
This is a
we're
long
This is
episode.
a long episode. This is a long one. This is our longest one so far. All right, let's go to tight ends. Sorry about that. I gotta blow my nose or something. Tight ends. Robert Tonyan might not make it back in time. Knee injury, ACL. Josiah DeGara is an interesting if that's the case. He had one tight end one performance last year. If you are like, I feel like that's one guy where you can like catch a lucky touchdown in week 1 and 2 and then move on if you're streaming touchdowns. I mean, if you're streaming,
No
if you're
one's streaming
tight ends.
Josiah DeGara.
Why not?
I mean, Cass, did you even look
No.
up stats for Josiah DeGara?
No,
I had
no
to
one
look it
did.
up real quick.
no one. But that's why, like, but if he's the starting tight end for the Packers
I don't care.
for 2 weeks, and you don't have any proven pass catchers, you got what? Where are these balls gonna go, guys? Where are these
Look,
balls gonna go? They're not going to the running backs.
To
They're
the
not going to the tight
sideline,
ends.
dog.
They're not going to the people who suck in the wide receiver room. Where are they going? They're going to the fucking sky.
Aaron
Yes.
Jones and the sideline. But anyway,
Yeah, Aaron
Uh,
Jones. That's right, Aaron Jones. That's what I'm gonna leave that with.
yeah.
Let's leave it with that. Let's go to the bold prediction. My bold prediction: Aaron Jones, 1,000 season RB1.
Okay, that's bold.
I'm not projecting that. I'm just putting that out there. That's a bold
Bold.
prediction.
Tim,
Yeah.
I
Bold
do want to
prediction.
say, I mean, Robert Tonyan is someone I'll keep my eye on if he's healthy. I am going to put that out there.
I will say as tight end guy here, even if he's healthy, he is coming off an ACL, and he wasn't very good when healthy and not scoring a ridiculous amount of touchdowns either. So
Yeah.
he might get a bump. I will say that maybe tight end 1, but still tight end 1, like we've said in the past, it's borderline bad. So bold prediction, Michael.
My bold prediction will be that AJ Dillon is basically useless as long as Aaron Jones is healthy.
Interesting. Tim hates that.
I
bold
don't
prediction,
hate
me.
it. That's fine.
My bold prediction is Aaron Jones, wide receiver 1, Christian Watson, wide receiver 2.
Ooh.
You mean Aaron Jones RB1?
No, wide receiver 1 on the team.
I hate you guys. I hate you guys today.
No, I'm not saying for fantasy. I'm saying on the team.
No, yeah,
Say
I
for-
still
say-
disagree. But
Say
what
for
are you gonna
fantasy
do?
cast and let Michael go to sleep tonight with
Yeah.
nightmares. You can find us on Twitter at BrotoFF Tim, at BrotoFF Mike, at BrotoFF at BrotoFF Casanova, at BrotoFF Jason, and for Matt Ward at Psych Ward FF. We're gonna come at
Yep.
you tomorrow, every single day, 32 and 32. This is a long one. Enjoy. Peace.
Later.